Luckily, the weather is on our side today. The sun and I are pleased to offer you a warm welcome. I am Muhammad Ahmad Qureshi, working as an assistant professor in Civil Engineering Department at RNG Patel Institute of Technology, Bardoli. Till now, we had studied introduction of coplanar concurrent forces, types of forces, principle of physical independence of forces, principle of superposition of forces, principle of transmissibility of forces. And we had already solved the examples related to parallelogram law of forces, triangle law of forces, and examples on orthogonal and non-orthogonal components. Today, we will learn about resolution of more than two concurrent forces. So, we all know that a system of coplanar concurrent forces is said to be in equilibrium if the following conditions are satisfied. Which condition? First of all, our first condition is sigma h equals to 0. What is sigma h? It is nothing but sum of all the horizontal forces, and sigma h equals to 0 means algebraic sum of all the horizontal forces must be 0. Our second condition is sigma v equals to 0. Algebraic sum of all the vertical forces must be 0. And our third condition is since sigma h and sigma v both are 0, therefore our resultant must be 0. These are the three conditions of equilibrium of coplanar concurrent forces. Remember these three conditions. First, sigma h equals to 0. Second, sigma v equals to 0. And third, since sigma h and sigma v are 0, therefore our resultant must be 0. So now we will go for this figure. Here we had considered four forces. First is P1, second is P2, third is P3, and fourth is P4. Here, all the forces are acting at point. We gave this name as O, as shown in figure. Now, we already discussed about sigma h and sigma v. Sigma h algebraic sum of horizontal forces, sigma v algebraic sum of vertical forces, and here R is resultant. So we may write that the resultant of all the forces capital R equals to under root of sigma h square plus sigma v square, and we may find the magnitude by this method. Capital R equals to under root of sigma s square plus sigma v square, and we can find the direction by tan theta equals to summation of v upon summation of h. What is theta? Theta is nothing but angle of resultant with horizontal. Remember this. Theta equals to angle of resultant with horizontal. Now, I will just explain you one more thing, that there are two components of any of the forces. Suppose here we have one force P1. So P1 has two components. One is horizontal component and the second is vertical component. So here, what will be your horizontal component? It is nothing but P1 cos theta 1, making an angle with horizontal. and here it will be your P1 sine theta 1. So here the horizontal component is positive. Look here. Here the horizontal component is positive. Here the vertical component is positive. Similarly, we may have two components for P2 force. So here the horizontal component will be negative. Here the vertical component will be positive. Similarly, here also this will be your horizontal component and this will be your vertical component. So for horizontal component we have minus sign, and for vertical component it is also minus sign. Similarly, here also this will be your horizontal component and this will be your vertical component. Here vertical component is negative and here horizontal component is positive. So by checking positive or negative, we may go for the resultant. So we may judge the resultant whether it is lying in first quadrant or whether it is lying in second quadrant or whether it is lying in third and fourth quadrant. By this way, you can check whether your resultant will be in first, second, third, or fourth quadrant. Suppose, let us consider this first case. Sigma H equals to positive and sigma V equals to positive. I'm considering this portion P1 force. Both are positive. So if sigma H is positive and sigma V is also positive, then your resultant will lie in first quadrant. Now we will consider the second case. What? Sigma H, if sigma H is negative, if sigma V is positive, then your resultant will be in second quadrant. Third case, if sigma H is negative and sigma V is negative, then your resultant will be in the third quadrant. And last condition, if sigma H is positive and sigma V is negative, then your resultant will be in the fourth quadrant. So by this way, you can check the sum of horizontal forces and sum of vertical forces, and depending upon the values, whether it is positive or negative, you can judge the resultant in various quadrant. Simple, just remember that this will be your plus, this will be your minus. X-axis, this is your plus x-axis, this is your minus x-axis. Similarly, this will be your y-axis, and on y-axis, this will be your plus y-axis, and this will be minus y-axis. So here, if sigma h is positive and sigma v is positive, your resultant will be in the first quadrant. For second case, if sigma h is positive, if sigma h is negative and sigma V is positive, then your resultant will be in the second quadrant. For third case, if your sigma H is negative and sigma V is negative, then your resultant will be in the third quadrant. And for fourth case, sigma H is positive and sigma V is negative, means your resultant will lie in the fourth quadrant. By this way, you have to plot the resultant force for the given data. Now, let us consider first example. So, what is given? Determine the magnitude and direction of resultant force capital R of the force system shown below. So, here this is our force system that is given here. This is your x-axis, this is your x and y-axis, and this is your y-axis. So, just first of all, denote this axis with plus and minus notation. Plus y-axis, minus y-axis. So it will be easier for you while solving the examples. So this is our given figure. Now this 50 Newton force is acting towards the object or towards the point. So this push force we are converting into pull force according to principle of transmissibility of forces. Here 50 kilonewton force, we are here is the push force, and we are converting this push force into pull force. So I am simply just taking this force over here. I have just modified this figure. Okay. So now remember one thing, most important thing, that always take the angle with respect to x-axis only. Always take the angle with respect to x-axis only. This method is also known as part angle method. Part angle method. This one will be easy for you for solving the examples on resolution of more than two concurrent forces. So now we have to find the magnitude of the resultant force. Means we have to use the formula capital R equals to under root of sigma h square plus sigma v square. So for this we will first need sigma h and sigma v. So first of all we will calculate summation of all the horizontal forces. Now we have 100 Newton. First of all we have 100 Newton. So 100 Newton making an angle 60 degree with x-axis. So it has two components. This will be your 100 cos 60 and this will be your 100 sin 60. Okay. Similarly here 120 cos with respect to x 90 and with respect to y is nothing but sin 90, and sin 90 is nothing but 0. Sorry, sin 90 is 1. Then here 130. Similarly here, this will be your cos and this will be your sin. Making an angle theta. Making an angle theta. It is not 0, it is here theta. And we had given theta in terms of slope 12 gem phi. So we will calculate later on. So, and here it is 100 Newton and it has two components, 100 sine and this will be your 100 cos. So first of all we will calculate theta. So for theta we have tan theta equals to 12 by 5, and 12 by 5 is nothing but 2.4. Therefore, our theta will be 67.38 degree. So, we got the value of theta as 67.38 degree. Now we can easily find 130 cos theta and 130 sin theta. So, by taking part angles, we will go for summation of all the horizontal forces, that is sigma h. So here, firstly 50 Newton. So here 50 into, here your theta will be 0 and 50 Newton. Sigma h means we have to calculate in terms of horizontal direction, and in horizontal direction it is already 50 Newton on this line of action, so your theta will be 0. So here 50 into cos 0, then direction will be plus, so here 50 cos 0. Then for second case means here this will be your horizontal component, 100 cos, making an angle 60 degree with the horizontal. So here 100 cos 60 degree, and this 100 cos 60 is in first quadrant, means here it will be your positive. So plus 100 cos 60. Then we will go here 120 cos, it will make 90 degree with x-axis, so cos 90 degree. And here this will be your 120 cos 90. So again in first quadrant means summation of horizontal forces for this 120 Newton force is 0. So plus 120 cos 90. Then we will go for 130 cos 67.38. 130 cos 67.38 degree. But here this will be your minus axis, and your horizontal force, that is 130 cos 67.38, is in second quadrant, and hence this will be your minus. So here minus 130 cos 67.38 degree. Then this force 100 cos, making an angle 60 degree with the horizontal, and here the direction is positive, so plus 100 cos 60 degree. By solving this whole component, you will get sigma h equals to 100 Newton. Sigma h equals to 100 Newton. Here 100 is positive, hence your direction will be towards plus axis. Now we will go for vertical component. Sigma v equals to, first case, here 50 into, we have already considered the horizontal component, now we will go for sine component. 50 sine, and our angle will be 0, plus or minus, this will be a plus, minus, plus, and minus. So it is going upward, means this value is plus, so plus 50 sine 0. Then we will go for another one, that is 100 Newton, this. So 100 sine, and your angle will be always with respect to x only, so 100 sine 60 degree, and it is going upward, hence this will be also positive. So positive 100 sine 60. Then we will go for 120. 120 sine, and 120 is making an angle 90 degree with x-axis. So here sine 90, and this will be also positive. Then we will go for this component 130. 130 sine, this theta we had already calculated earlier, 67.38 degree. So here 130 sine 67.38 degree, and this is also going upward, so this will be also your positive value. Then 100 Newton, so this will be your vertical component. 100 sine, making an angle 60 degree with x-axis, so sine 60 degree, but this direction is going downward, and downward your vertical component will be negative. So here minus 100 sine 60. After solving this value, you will get sigma V as 240 Newton, and the value is positive, so we denote this as upward direction sign, means your summation of vertical force sigma V is positive. Now we have to calculate the value of R, that is resultant. We know the formula. Resultant capital R equals to under root of sigma h square plus sigma v square. Now we had already calculated the value of sigma h and sigma r. What is the value of sigma h? Sigma h is 100 Newton. So we will put the value of sigma h as 100 square plus, and value of sigma v we had calculated here 240 square. So by solving we will get capital R equals to 260 Newton. Now we had find the magnitude of the resultant force. Now we will go for direction of the resultant force for the given system. For that we have the formula tan theta equals to summation of vertical force upon summation of horizontal force. So what is the value of sigma v? Sigma v is 240, and what is the value of sigma h? It is 100. So by putting both the values we will get as 240 upon 100 equals to 2.40. That is tan theta is 2.40. So we have to find the value of theta as tan inverse of 2.40. So you will get theta equals to 67.38 degree. And finally, we have to locate the resultant. So we will write here sigma h. What is sigma h? Sigma h is 100 Newton and it is positive. And similarly, sigma v is 240 Newton and it is also positive. So here we will write sigma h equals to positive and sigma v equals to positive. Therefore, the resultant will be in the first quadrant. The resultant will be in the first quadrant. So now we will notify the resultant by drawing the simple figure. This x plus, this will be your minus x-axis. This y will be your plus axis and this y will be your minus axis. Here sigma h is positive, means here sigma h is positive and sigma v is positive. Vertical force is also positive, hence our r will be in the first quadrant. So just we have to locate the position of r as 260 Newton in first quadrant and making an angle theta of 67.38 degree with horizontal. So by this way you have to calculate the magnitude and direction of resultant force. Simple steps for finding the magnitude and direction of resultant force. Firstly, you have to calculate the value of theta if it is unknown. Then you have to calculate sigma h, summation of all the horizontal forces and summation of all the vertical forces. Then you have to just put the values of sigma h and sigma v for finding the value of resultant equation capital R equals to under root of sigma square plus sigma v square. And then you have to calculate the direction by using the equation tan theta equals to sigma v by sigma h. And lastly, you have to just show where the resultant lies in which quadrant. Now, we will go for second example. A system of four forces has resultant 50 Newton. Here it is given that a system of four forces has the resultant 50 Newton along plus x axis. Means here it is already given that it has resultant 50 Newton along plus x axis. Determine the magnitude and direction of the unknown force P. Means we have to determine the magnitude and direction of this force P. So first of all, we have 150 Newton along positive x-axis, then P force making an angle theta with x-axis, then 100 Newton making an angle 30 degree with y-axis. But we are considering the part angles, so we will calculate 100 Newton. Here total is your 90 degree. So this will be your 60 degree. So we will calculate 100 with respect to sine or cos 60. Then we have 200 Newton making an angle 60 degree with horizontal axis. So now we will start the example. What is given? It is given that resultant sigma h is nothing but 50 Newton. What is sigma v? Sigma v will be 0. Then we will go for part angles. So firstly, we will calculate summation of horizontal forces, that is sigma h. Here theta is also unknown. They had not given the value in terms of slope also. So we will put theta as it is. Now firstly, we will go for part angles, that is sigma h equals to, our first force is this 150. So here 150 cos, your theta will be 0. So 150 cos 0 degree, and here it will be plus. Then P, it has two component, P cos theta, and here will be your P sin theta. So we are considering sigma h, hence we will take this component. So here P cos theta, what will be its sign, whether it is a positive or whether it will be negative value. So first of all, here it is going in this direction, hence your P cos theta will be positive. So here plus P cos theta. Then We will go for 100 Newton. It will split in two components. This will be your 100 cos 60 and this will be your 100 sine 60. So this will be 100 cos 60 degree. Here this component is going in second quadrant, lying in second quadrant. So here it will be minus. Then 200 Newton. This will be your horizontal component, that is 200 cos 60 degree. So here 200 cos 60 degree, but its direction is here and hence it will be also negative. So 150 cos 0 plus p cos theta minus 100 cos 60 minus 200 cos 60. But in given data, we know the value of sigma h. What is sigma h? Sigma h is nothing but 50 Newton. So 150 cos 0, 150 plus p cos theta as it is unknown, then minus 100 cos 60 is 50 minus 200 cos 60 is 100. So we may write as p cos theta equals to 50 and we will give this as equation number 1. Now we have to find the value of vertical force, that is sigma v. So now sigma v equals to, here our first case will be 150. So 150 sine 0, this will be your in going upward, so it will be your positive value. 150 sine 0, then this value p component in vertical direction, p sine making an angle theta with horizontal theta, and it is going upward means it will be your plus p sine theta. Then this component 100 sine 60, 100 sine 60 degree. Going upward means this will be your positive. Then 200, this force going downward, sine making an angle 60 degree with horizontal 60 degree, and it is going downward means it here will be minus. And what is sigma v? Sigma v is nothing but 0. So 0 equals to 150 sine 0 will be 0 plus p sine theta plus 86.60 minus 200 sine 60 will be 173.20. So we may write as p sine theta equals to 86.6 degree, 86.6, and give it equation number 2. So we have two equations in terms of p cos theta and p sine theta. We have to find the value of p as well as theta. So next step, we know that what is sine upon cos? Tan. So p sine theta upon p cos theta equals to, value of p sine theta is 86.6 and value of p cos theta is 50. So p sine theta equals to 86.6 upon p cos theta equals to 50. So this pp will be cancelled and sine upon cos is nothing but tan theta. So tan theta equals to 1.732, and therefore theta equals to tan inverse of 1.732 equals to 60 degree. So here our theta will be 60 degree. Now we have to find the value of P. So next step, take any one of the equation. We know that P sine theta equals to 86.6 degree. P into, what is the value of sine theta? Sorry, what is the value of theta? 60. So we will put as sine 60 degree equals to 86.6 degree. Therefore, P equals to 86.6 degree upon sine 60. Therefore, your P will be 100 Newton. So, this way you may calculate the value of P as 100 Newton. Firstly, we had gone through sigma h,